use during our board meeting just before the AGM, or maybe after the AGM, we set up a team that was to find as a president nominee in a way that does not create tension. And we settled on Mike Eldon, Sally Gitoho, and Arun Devani. I think they will give us a report on the issue of the president nominee. Our second agenda item will be accounts for the year 2019, 2020. Number 3 is matters related to the auditor. Number 4 is the Rotary team that will lead us in the year of Imagine Rotary, which is the year of 2022-23. Then number 5, Think Again by Mike Eldon. Number 6 is AOB. Sorry, the treasurer sent, the secretary sent about the 3 items that I've mentioned, the first 3, but I've added these 2 that have come up. In case I'm forgetting anything, please just write it down. You'll notify me. I'll bring it up under AOB. Under AOB. Thank you very much. We are 14 assembled. I think we constitute a quorum for those that come for meetings. I'm expecting more.
Evelyn is now here. Evelyn Mungai is here.
Asante. So that brings to 15, which I think constitutes a quorum. You can guide me, IPP Ritesh.
President Gideon, actually for this very special meeting, we need at least 1/3 of the club membership to be present. I do know, however, that as you carry on with the meeting, other members will log on. So, and we're also recording the meeting. So I think we can begin with certain agenda items and lead towards the key items later.
Okay. Okay. I stand guided. Would you want us to start with the way I've lined them out? President nominee, accounts 2019-2020, auditor, Rotary, 2022-2023 team, Think Again, Mike, and AOB. Would you want me to, because there's some announcements that would require the members joining, but I think we'll send the minutes. So let me take this opportunity then to invite past President Mike to just take us through the journey of getting our president for the year 2023-2024, and also take that opportunity to unveil to the membership on who their club president, their 93rd club president will be. Mike Eldon, the floor is yours. I yield.
Thank you, Gideon, and hello, fellow Rotarians. We've had a very nice process to come up with one wonderful person to be our incoming president following the year of Josephine. As you know, we set up this nominating committee to make the process smooth and easy, without winners and losers. We came up with an initial list of people who we thought qualified. And when I say we, by the way, to remind us, it's a combination of 3 elders, 3 past chairman presidents, myself, Arun, and Sally, and the troika, as it has come to be known, of the current president, the immediate past, and the incoming president. So the 6 of us looked at who we would like to see as possible new presidents, president nominees, and they were talked to. as is to be expected, never mind in this day and age, some said, not yet, not now. I'm very committed, I'm very busy. It would be hard for me to be available enough to fulfill the responsibilities of being a president. Gideon is the one who currently is more than aware of how much time and effort, both intellectual and emotional, it requires. One person, however, when approached and who does qualify, said, gosh, I wasn't expecting this, but yeah, I think maybe I could do it, but hold on, let me consult my husband. So you've got a clue there already as to the gender. And let me reveal that the person is Susan Murabana, a delightful member, a delightful lady. And Susan has been a member for quite some years now. She knows us all, and we all love her. She was club secretary for 2 years. And when you're club secretary, you really get to know what's going on, and you have to be on top of things and almost chasing others in the way that the president has to be. She's also been the chair of the Family of Rotary Committee as a board member, and is currently the chair of vocational service, where I chair, and I know what a wonderful job she's doing. Susan, as we all know, is a cheerful, smiling person, so easy to get along with. She's a great communicator, which is why she has been invited to appear on both BBC and CNN. And I don't know that there are too many around here who can say that. So Susan has agreed to be our president nominee. We are delighted she has agreed. And so this now, on behalf of the nominating committee, is to put it to the membership at large to ratify, to endorse, to support our recommendation. So Gideon, I turn it back to you to seek that. And then I think, assuming people are happy with it, we should ask Susan, if she's already with us, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mike. Actually, I'm looking for Susan. If anybody can find her on phone and tell her to join in. Let me thank you, Mike, for your leadership and that of the president, past presidents on the Vice Council's committee. You've said it so in a very relaxed way, but it has been a back and forth. Talking to people, at times you look like you're running out of time, so you become anxious. But I think you said it so calmly, people might think you just did go to Susan and that's it. So I want to congratulate you for the leadership and taking us through the process together with your team. And I also want to thank Josephine and Ritesh. I think there's a lot of work that goes out in the background. What people get to see is just but the product. But I think we as a team have done well, and I want to think we have the most suitable candidate to run with for the year 2022-2023. Has she joined, Susan? But as she comes in, I would want a proposer on record for Susan as president of the Rotary Club for the year 2022-2023. Josephine, I can see you raised your hand. Go ahead and propose. And I think Irina Arendera will second. Josephine, the floor is yours.
Very much. Thank you very much, President Gideon, fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure to propose Susan Marabana as President nominee and effectively President-elect for the year 2022-2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Josephine. I think that is well said. Madam Eva, you are on record as, we have Josephine on record as our proposer. Madam Irina?
I second.
No, who are you, Irina?
No, I second for Susan to be the president nominee.
For those of us who know you, we call you Namde Irina. So I want us to say your names properly and second. For the record.
Irina Wandera, I second the proposal for Susan Rabana to be our president nominee. So that's the year 2023, 24?
Yeah. 2023, 24.
Okay.
Asante. I will invite two people just to maybe speak on our behalf and congratulate Susan. And I will probably just be the first to say congratulations, Madam President nominee Susan. I think it has been long and you've patiently waited, not aggressively campaigning for positions. I think positions find you, and this particular one, I would want to say is deserved, and we look forward to your leadership in a few years when you're in control, but at the same time, as you continue to serve on subsequent boards that will lead to your becoming president. I want maybe just to choose two people. I'll choose Pipi Sudesh to offer our congratulations on behalf of the club. I'll choose two people, Sudesh and Irene. Irene is young, which is why I am choosing her. Either Irene or Irene, are you there? Gadiaka?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're the people next on queue. So probably you can say your sentiments now, and then we will close the chapter with the award from our past president, Sudesh.
Well, nothing but good things to say about Susan, because I haven't been a member for very long, but I remember the one, I think it was the very last session that we had, you might call it a Koroga. That's when I got to know Susan, and basically we've been trying to work together ever since, and she's been helpful in whatever I asked, especially guidance, being a new person. And I feel that spirit of wanting to do better and to help, especially the young people in her work as community service, and also helping members like me who are a little bit new to this. She gives of herself, and I feel that she'll apply that same spirit to being the president when her time comes. And for us, she opens the door. She's making us know that it's all right to aspire for bigger things. So I have nothing but optimism. And to you, Susan, we'll be here to support you and as well as to learn from you. So congratulations and keep going as you've been. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Irene, Rotarian Irene. Pipi Sudesh, you'll sum it up for everyone.
Good afternoon, President and fellow Rotarians. I think Mike has very aptly put that she's the right candidate, and she's a good candidate, not just right, she's a good candidate for our presidentship during 22-23. She is and enthusiastic. She is. She has learned quite a bit. She had been in our club for so long. So those who had been there since then, we all know her. She is a very neutral personality, and she has a lot of charm and warmth that a leader should have, because leadership means taking everybody together. And I'm sure that she will be able to have work towards making whole club work as a team and no discord. And if there is any discord, she would be able to remove it with her smile, I'm sure. Congratulations, Susan. We are very happy to have you as president, and all of us are there with you to support you. Thank you, President Gideon.
Asante. If anything, I think, Sudesh, that was more of a prayer and a blessing to Susan. So, Susan, I yield the floor to you now as president nominee.
Mr. President, past presidents, fellow Rotarians, first of all, I'd like to say my apologies for joining slightly late. I had another meeting which just ended, and I'm happy that I was able to join. I really look forward to not just being the president in 23-24, but working with the president-elect, Ambassador Josephine, who's been very warm and kind and welcoming and being like a mentor to me. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also really looking forward to interacting and working with all you very lovely, professional and service-oriented Rotarians. I know I'll learn a lot. I know I'll give a lot, but I know I'll also receive a lot from all of you. Thank you so much. And I really look forward to this. And will continue to serve in the capacity as Director of Vocational Service this year and next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations once again, Susan. And thank you to the membership for accepting Susan. And we look forward to a joyful ride now during Josephine's year and up to Susan's year. Thank you very much. We now move to our second point, which is the accounts for President Jessica, the year 2019-2020. These accounts, we've not circulated them again, but you've had them everywhere in your emails, in the general WhatsApp group. And basically, I want to report on several things. We have taken longer than necessary to have these accounts sorted out. But what we did, we realized we cannot solve them issues out in the plenary. We just get a small working group which would identify the issues in an environment we can work and agree. And that's basically what happened. And I shared the views of the team that was working on the accounts with the board last night. And I would want to say that we move forward. But how do we move forward? We have some small issues that have not been captured in Jessica's accounts, but we have identified them. By and large, what was presented in the accounts that were shared materially are correct. The transactions, the records, the account, the monies in different accounts and how they move to the other accounts are materially correct. There were several things that when we were dealing with Jessica's accounts emerged from Salim's account. But because we do not have time, we had to find a way of moving forward, but without sweeping the small issues that are pending from Salim's account under the carpet. So we consulted far and wide on how do we go toward, how do we go forward in the circumstances? And we realized there are two techniques we can use. We state that Jessica's accounts were developed from what we would call incomplete records. And we say incomplete records because of what the accountants call subsequent events. Events that emerged after the reporting period of a particular financial year. So these subsequent events are going, if we adopt Jessica's accounts, are going to be picked up in the next accounts that belong to Madam to Salim and Jessica's accounts, and regularized, because now we have time. Because what happened is we got a report asking questions. We've not had time to go back to have those questions answered. But by and large, Salim and Jessica do not have a problem. They can be resolved. It's just that we don't have time. And unless we pass this, I think our next AGM will be in December this year. So we were, I on behalf of the small team that was working on the accounts, request that we pass this account, adopt them. But if you look at the accountant's note, he has taken into consideration that we have incomplete accounts, we have subsequent events, and what additionally is giving us this possibility to explore this possibility is the fact that the auditor in Salim's year has not signed the accounts. Otherwise, the auditor would have taken liability. So when we work on Ritesh accounts subsequent to Jessica's, this is what is going to happen. We are going to open up where the information was not adding up in Salim's accounts, get into them so that the figures that are supposed to form the opening balances for Jessica's accounts are sorted out, and we give these accounts to Ritesh, and the auditor will sign as being responsible for Salim's and Jessica's account. I hope so far I'm clear. If there's any question, I would be more than glad to take it up now.
President Gideon, may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, President Gideon. I just want to comment briefly to say I commend all the leaders. I know it was an agreement that must have been the result of consultations amongst the previous presidents, IPP, and perhaps the elders. My question is, and it's almost a statement, that I hope this process does not become a precedent, because what you're doing now is resolving something that ought to have actually been undertaken during the year of the president in office. So I hope that this is really an extraordinary measure that will not be provided as a solution for accounts that have not been reconciled at the end of a president's year. Thank you.
Any other comment before I respond to Josephine?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I like Josephine. I'd like to commend the elders and the past presidents for working out a resolution of some kind. I just wanted to know if there will be any liability in the year that just the 90th year, the accounts that follow Jessica's, because it sounds like someone has to pick up the liability. So I wonder how that will, does that mean it will never be picked up? Or it's just, that's my lack of clarity. Where will it go? Will it go to Ritesh's year? And if not, then where? Thank you.
But they very, 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 very good questions or statements from both Josephine and Margareta. Probably Josephine, I would want to say this: we cannot rule out a possibility of us running into similar problems in future. However, I want to say that we now need to be slightly more vigilant than we've been before in ensuring that things come in at the time that they ought to. And that does not happen until we have timely reports as been indicated by Pipi Sudesh. If monthly reports are supposed to come out in a financial statement, they need to be ready. Because what happens is with time, we lose our memory of certain events, and unless jolted, they become, it becomes very difficult. But if you have a record, a weekly record on transactions, a monthly record, it might be cumbersome in between, but it will become a light burden when the report is required, like a financial statement, because records will be able to remind you that this happened here, this happened here. For instance, something that came up. There's a donor who comes from Canada, and the account provided for him to put money in is the admin account and not the project account. So the admin account looks like we have money, and the project account, because we continue using money since confirmation was made that money was received without having transferred the money in the project account, you find that we are in excess of cash in the admin account, which handles very routine items. And yet the project account, because projects fall at different times, is indeed in arrears, but you have not noticed because you didn't transfer the money into the project account. So those are things that came up. We have to be diligent going forward in ensuring things are done smoothly. You would find that there are accounts we put on fixed deposit to yield some interest for the club so that they can use that money in a project or in any other activity. And by the time a certain project wants money, we release money from the project account, but never credit that money that was on fixed deposit in the project account. So we find a few challenges here and there when projects need to be done, but Kiragu probably will speak on that, and maybe tell us a few things he has done or he's doing in the background just to sort out that. Maybe just to answer Madam Margareta, we are not transferring a liability to Ritesh. We are using the opportunity in Ritesh here to sort out our back issues. We have a problem. If not resolved, it will not go away. Now that we have an opportunity, it's going to be addressed right from where it started and update to where we are currently. And that can only happen in Ritesh Sia. There's no liability. We're just trying to correct the questions that David Hasty in his accounting came up with. And he came up with these questions, but we have not given time to respondents, people to respond. So these were his findings. I am sure when we go back to the questions and look at them one by one, then we can conclude, is there a liability? Is there the opposite of liability is what, Ritesh? Okay, we will nini, but I think you are getting my message. So we do not want to sweep these things under the carpet, but again, the David's questions raised require that there is a right of reply. So that is the opportunity Ritesh here is going to give us. Oh, that would be an asset. Thank you, liability and asset. Josephine, are you raising your hand again?
Yes, President Ritesh. Sorry. Yes, President Gideon. I'm sorry, I'm seeing Ritesh raise his hand too. President Gideon, I will seek your wisdom on this and the wisdom of others amongst us. How do we create a standard of performance that deters any board from handing over to the next without the resolution of matters such as this? Because evidently we allowed it to happen. How can we close that opportunity for a lack of performance? Thank you.
I think President Gideon, if you, what do you call it? If you allow me to try and respond to this.
Yes.
And to basically give a background of how we found ourselves in this situation. It's really as a result of a decision that was made not to subject the accounts to an external audit. And that's really where the inconsistency started. But now, since we're proposing to appoint an auditor, he will be bound to indeed remain to ensure that the policies, RI policies, are followed to the letter. And now, just to give comfort to your inquiry about what's happening, the auditor will also have to look at these inconsistencies that we're talking about. Ideally, I'd want the audit to start to commence from the year 2019-20. So at least there's clarity and everything has been catered for. And knowing any good auditor would want to get a comfort really on the opening balances. I'm sure they'll want to look at this as well. So nothing is being swept under the carpet, but yes, indeed we are proposing to move back to subjecting this to an external audit, where now we expect that the auditor will be guided by the standards that apply to audits. And further to mention really the issue of accounting, it's really this issue of split accounts where funds are taken across accounts is because there's also now a temptation to, the feeling is, one, some projects have sufficient funds which may not be used in the next 6 months. So the wise decision has been to fix this in an account and earn interest. Unfortunately, these are rolled over and over. So you find that the accounting becomes very difficult. So going forward, the proposal is really to ensure that once club, the directors provide a budget for the next 6 months, at the next opportunity of unlocking the deposit, these funds are set aside so that to ensure that the accounting is easier. It's something that's historical, but a painful decision has to be made. One, do you want to earn the few extra shillings in interest in return for a painful accounting experience, even for the auditor? So that's really what's going to iron out all these issues. And indeed, yeah, we'll have the auditor look at 2019-20 and 2020-21 as well.
Thank you, Kiragu, for the insight. I am sure there are people who can add muscle to the foundation Kiragu has laid. But I can see, Margareta, your hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up. I wanted to thank you, President Gideon, for suggesting that in future we have monthly accounting to make sure that by the end of the year, everything is cleared and handed over so that as upcoming President-elect Josephine noted, this would not be a precedent. So I hope that I think right now we have some debt owed to the club, whether that can be sorted out, and whatever issues are pending now for this year, we complete those and do a annual accounting or monthly accounting, as you have said, suggested. Would that be possible?
Very, very possible, Dr. Margareta, very possible. And also, let me not take credit. These are suggestions that come from none other than Tukish Sudesh, and which I found, would be appropriate to take us forward. There's a gentleman I've also been dealing with on these issues in the background, and Ritesh, maybe I'll give you an opportunity maybe to just to comment.
Thank you, President Gideon. I'm in agreement with all that has been shared so far by yourself, by Past President Sudesh, by Dr. Margareta and Ambassador Josephine, and also by Treasurer Bernard Kiragu. And of course, what I would like to say is that what we should do going forward is have a very strengthened finance committee and ensure that the committee is actively engaged and meet on a regular basis, even during months when there are nil transactions, so that everything is always on track. And the rest of it is just basic entries. I think it's just different, accountants have different ways of presenting the accounts. The accounting itself is not a question here, so thank you.
Thank you. I'll probably invite a comment on use of a software. I was proposing QuickBooks, maybe from I think Ritesh will go first, and then Kiragu.
Yes, President Gideon, I like that suggestion which you have of having a software. Of course, we will have to also consider how many individuals will have access to the software, and just those little technicalities, which we can talk at length at committee or subcommittee level. But it's a good idea to actually put everything into a more systematic format, and QuickBooks is a good idea.
Thank you, Josephine. I'll get back to you, Kiragu, and then I'll get back to Josephine.
Yeah, President Gideon, yeah, softwares are always welcome. They at least help to really simplify the accounting process. And yeah, it's welcome. Just need to maybe weigh the cost benefit, but I guess really the benefit outweighs the cost.
Okay. Josephine, I can see your hand raised.
Thank you, President Gideon. President Gideon, Bernard has drawn our attention to, I use the word role, and in inverted commas, to the role of our fixed deposits and the cycle of the deposits, or the periodicity of the deposits, and the effect that that has on possible implementation of budgets and therefore accounting. I know we can't give, answers to all issues, but I want to thank Bernard for raising this one here and ask President that we would seek members to allow the Finance Committee to itself deliberate on this and come up with a provision that relates to our club in terms of the management of accounting and the management of our fixed deposits. I think that's something that the Finance Committee should sit down and come up with a procedural guidance on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Kiragu, do you want to say something or we can move forward?
Yes, just in closing, and to really mention this, I think one, the natural expectation is that the committees will give you their budgets at the beginning of the year. But what I've seen is the practice is way different. You ask committees to give you their budgets, they don't, and then you're always in a crisis, really trying to resolve these things. So I'm sure the Finance Committee would really help with the implementation of that, where funds are definitely availed against a set budget by the committee. And it definitely can be managed.
Okay. Asante. So I want a proposal for the account for the period 2019-2020.
I think President Gideon, sorry to take you back, but I think really, I think since we probably should have gone with the next agenda first.
Okay.
I think it would give comfort if these accounts are put through some sort of audit, even if it's just to have the auditor give comfort that indeed he's happy with these treatments, an external person. So I'd really propose that instead of having this meeting adopt these accounts, which really more or less closes the debate on them, or rather, I'm sure members would want more comfort that this have been externally reviewed. I know this stretches our time for getting this done, but I would guess since we're expecting to also approve President Ritesh's accounts as well, maybe we may want to consider having another pair of eyes, really, that's external, having a look at that, so that at least going back to Josephine's words, we're not really creating a precedent where we said previously we've adopted accounts without audit. And really, that's really my request for now. Sorry to throw this spanner.
No. You're not throwing in a spanner.
Yeah.
When we approve these accounts, like I think when Central Bank came up with a rule that banks and insurance companies must publish and advertise their account every quarter in the newspapers, they were not asking for the central bank to, for banks and insurance companies to go for audits every other time. You can publish those accounts and mark them unaudited accounts. Our accounts are unaudited. What I want us to do is that the club is in general agreement that this is a fair reflection of our financial position, and we can use these accounts, particularly in my case, in reporting to the district. And I will pass in a qualifier that says these are unaudited accounts. And we will, in due time, send them our audited accounts after they have been reviewed by an independent auditor who will take up the liability. So what I want just now is we are moving the issues from the bigger club plenary discussion of our accounts to the accountant and the auditor. So they are unaudited. but by and large, as a club, we have agreed that they materially, the way I think David Hesty summarized in his, materially represent our financial position. And also, if you look at his statement, he leaves an opportunity for amendments to be done. But by and large, we have done what we can to get to where we are. Now, we don't want to go back to the plenary. You'll not see this discussion again in the general WhatsApp group. It will be limited to the accountants who did the accounts and the group that has been tasked to sort out this. So it's not, we can qualify them as unaudited, Kiragu.
Happy with that, President Gideon.
Could I make a comment?
Yes.
I thought when you were saying, could we have a firster and a seconder, you were referring to the proposal that I thought Josephine had raised about a finance committee, because I think, not that I want to disrupt your plan of action, President, but I do think that that there needs to be proper finance committee that is also perusing the accounts with the treasurer, and that needs to be proposed and seconded in order that we affirm that they exist and are active. I've heard several people, Ritesh and Josephine, raise the issue of the finance committee. So I want to know if we can please have that included in the proposal.
Madam Dr. Margareta.
Yeah.
I'm merely a spokesperson of the team that worked
behind the scenes on this issue, which had some members of our finance committee. So I'm just reporting on their behalf. We can't have everybody speaking here. We have a finance committee in place that does not require a resolution. And this matter, once we approve of the accounts as a reflection of our financial position, this committee now will carry the task forward to fix those issues. So we are not passing a resolution for formation of a finance committee. There's one in place. It just needs to now pick what we have given them to sort out the issues. Praful?
Mr. President, you're coming back to the same issue I had mentioned in my email.
Yes.
That what you're giving now is accounts for information purposes.
Yes.
But you cannot present accounts to the general body unless they are audited.
Very well.
Now, number one. Number two, we do not have bylaws or constitutional authority to appoint a separate finance committee. Only way it can be done is through club service committee. It is their job to ensure the running of the club. Number two, please do not, if you qualify accounts as unaudited, basically they are absolutely useless for the district or for RI. Be careful here. The way to go around it is you must follow the procedure we have been following in the past. Work with each year, get your accounts up to date, audited, balances available to the next year, and proceed from that basis. You cannot do it for your year alone or for Ritesh's year. You are looking for serious trouble if you proceed the road you selected now. Remember, we have no provision for a separate finance committee whatsoever unless we appoint one, put it through the general body, but it is not with our constitution or bylaws. Are we together?
Yes, council taken in.
Do not vary the systems and procedures to please people. As a principal officer and your board, please follow our rules and regulations, which all the previous presidents and the boards had to follow. Are we together?
We are together, PP Praful, and which is why I was saying that like I mean I like the way you started your sentence by it being qualified by an independent auditor. And I think the process we've just laid out is we've realized there were some things that were not done in good time, but required to be resolved. But the two accounts for the year 2019, 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020 are, are materially correct. And we want to move forward. And with the small committee, all the accountants that worked on these accounts, liaise with the independent auditor to ensure that the questions that have come up are addressed. And we can now, because for the auditor, like Kiragu said, he is unlikely to append his signature on those accounts if the questions that have been persistent are not addressed.
Well, that is not only for the Rotary Club, it is for any organization whatsoever, Mr. President. Yes. Procedures have to be followed, and auditors, why are they independent? It is for the safety of the members. Therefore, it would be incorrect to proceed halfway. It is always possible that, look, ask the previous board, please work and get this thing cleaned up once and for all. All right? And yes, you can proceed comfortably in the future. Sooner or later, you're going to get a query from RI, where are your audited accounts? They do not accept Excel spreadsheet accounts. So don't get into a place where we have ruined our reputation altogether. We are a club of substance. We are an old club. We have a prestige. Let us not do shortcuts. Please follow the procedure. And you and your club secretary is technically a constitutional officer of the club, and he should guide you, the president, on systems and procedures which are in place. This would be my suggestion to you, Mr. President, how to go around it.
Oh, perfect. Actually, you brought up something that I have not confessed. The district wants our accounts, audited accounts, and they are asking these questions on behalf of Rotary International. I have a meeting on Saturday, and basically these have been the persistent questions. So some people might be wondering why I am so keen on pushing this agenda. It is for the club. And I want to say this, PP Praful, and to the entire team. What we are presenting now is a satisfactory position on behalf of the membership of the Rotary Club. We have accounts that have been done, but they are unaudited. I think the law allows us to use our own audited accounts. I have seen organizations go for maybe tendering processes where accounts are requested. In the event you don't have audited accounts, they ask for management accounts. But we have what we would call unaudited or management accounts. And the role I want this AGM to play is to say that as a group, we trust what has been done so far, and are handing up this work to our independent auditors. That is what I want.
Mr. President, I sympathize with you, but you must also be careful. Each year you delay in submitting your accounts to KRA, you're inviting penalties.
Okay.
That is a law.
I think
law. You can't get away from it.
Praful, absolutely. Actually, it's like you're sitting in my mind, in my brain. I mean, it's just that I didn't want to bring up those issues, and I'll bring up them in another sitting, or I'll share with whoever is interested to get to know the KRA angle. That one is also there, but we will not go down that path. What I want now is that second, that we'll proceed, approve that we will proceed with the account as they are and hand them over to Kiragu now to provide leadership under the auspices of an auditor to fix the issue.
Well, let's put it this way. I agree with your sentiments. Pass the buck back to club administration and let Kiragu from club administration start the ball rolling so you are within your regulations, number one.
So basically, that's why I'm proposing we give Kiragu the authority as a club. This being a general assembly, I want us to propose that these accounts as presented should now be put in the hands of Kiragu and the auditor, who time and again, if need be, will call upon the specific people in the report who might be required to answer one question or clarify something. So that's the proposal I want, and the secondment, and then we move away from this item.
Mr. President, you do not need General Assembly's permission to do that. You, as a president of the club, and your board has the authority to instruct club admin to work on your instructions as it stands, and they will have to function. You do not need a general permission from the body of the club.
Thank you. Then I think let's proceed and say that here we hereby instruct Kiragu to provide leadership in getting the accounts for the period 2019, 2020, 2020, 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020 sorted out, and in conjunction with an auditor that he shall and his team, together with the board, find suitable to be able to attend to our accounts. I take to the next item, which is the auditor. Josephine, I've moved from that. I've moved from.
It is so small, President Gideon. Could you add a time frame to that resolution? You know why, no, President Gideon? Yeah, because some of these things I'm sure are going to spill over to other years of leadership, and we are going to be, burdened with things that are not complete. Could you please give a time frame? You say within the next 3 months or something like that, please.
President Gideon, I think I'll attempt to really give a commitment on your behalf,
yes.
Knowing really how this strains incoming presidents. Yes. It is our desire and our hope that will be done with the audit of all accounts, including last year's accounts, by the end of this quarter.
Perfect. Then the end of this quarter is just
March.
A few days away.
2 months.
Yes.
2 months to go.
Yes. Wonderful, Kiragu. I think I agree. Josephine, if you listen to Praful very well in his last presentation, he said it is the duty of the board and the finance committee. Let them pick those issues, and I think Kiragu has taken up. I hope you find some comfort in that.
Thank you, President Gideon. I'm taking note. Thank you.
Thank you. Auditor Kiragu, this is strictly your docket. We were not in a position to discuss it yesterday because
yes,
lead us through that.
Yes, thank you, President Gideon. As mentioned in the previous board meetings, we did invite firms to express their interest to act as auditors for the club, and we got responses from 6. Of the 6, and we're doing, all of them appear really, they attach their certificates, including ISPAC certification. But now I think I want to request that we are guided by the fee quotes that we received. We have a fee quote from Mirori and Company proposing a fee of 480,000. That is the highest we've received. And then DK Wambua and Associates is proposing this to be time-based. That is usually very unpredictable. The next one there is MG Alekim, who have proposed 400,000 as the fee. We have EM Wangila proposing 286,000. Then we have FHC proposing 191,400. Now, the 6th firm, James Kimeu, have proposed a fee of 50,000 shillings, which to me appears reasonable and in line with what I believe we've paid in the past. And I was unable to attend yesterday's board meeting, but I believe there's guidance really on an amount that would be reasonable, which is quite close to what James Kimeu is charging. Nonetheless, I think at the last board meeting, we had requested the trust to really take up this charge. And I believe we are hoping to get some positive feedback in that regard. Over to you, President Gideon. But the proposal is really to go with the audit firm that is proposing to charge close to what we're able to pay, noting that they've attached all the documents and they appear to be well exposed to the task at hand.
Probably what I would propose is we have a conversation with all of them. I think Institute put in place an interviewing panel. Some of them, I think, see as donating checks of 13 million to the University of Nairobi, and they think we have a lot of money, and put us in the scale of organizations with a lot of money. We probably just need to sit down with all of them in an interview of thoughts and tell them the scope of our transactions and accounts, so that we can manage expectations. So we cannot disqualify them on the basis of just their pitch in terms of fees. Let's talk and to all of them and find a suitable auditor for them. So what I would advise is Kiragu, please organize an interview panel. We have a conversation and then we move forward.
Mr. President, may I?
Go ahead.
Generally, we would request auditing firms to do a pro bono job for the Rotary Club accounts, as we are a charity organization. If we start paying fees, we will be giving money away which are to be used for charity, and there won't be anything left for it. This is the way we used to work, that look, we requested auditing firms that look, we will give you the publicity you need. You please give us pro bono work for this. And it had worked quite well. Now, if we go into the open market and you lend yourself with a $500,000 shilling bill, how are you going to finance it? Think about it, okay?
Yeah, which is why I asked Kiragu to meet them and manage expectations, because the impression they see of Rotary, particularly Rotary Club of Nairobi, donating big checks, gives them the impression that we are a wealthy organization. So let's have a meeting and manage expectation. Dr. Gidanga, I can see your hand up.
Thank you very much, President. I've been listening in the background. I just wanted to weigh in on issues of the Finance Committee. in my year 2016-17, we had a very, very strong finance committee that was self-selected without too much bureaucracy. What happened to that one? And you do not have to respond to that because I know we've moved. As to the issue of paying an auditor, we all know wherever we work that every time you get things pro bono, then you are last one in the queue to be served. And we have had this debate year in, year out. I've been here for 25 years plus, which is a reasonable amount of time. And we have agreed that it's important to pay some nominal sum, not 400,000. I mean, I've sat on various other places. I haven't had an audit bill of 400,000. It's usually 100, 120 and so on. People with high cash flows. So obviously there is expectations that we roll in a lot of money, but I disagree about looking for free things because those free things have left us with a short end of the stick because I'm giving you a service. So you wait, you join behind the queue of other work that pays for me to enable you to give you free work. So I would agree with what the president has suggested, sit with those 5 or 6 teams and come with an idea so that we do not have a fee that's higher than what we've been paying in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Past President Kamal, very quickly, and then Jessica, and then I want to move to the next point. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President. I think me and David, we are thinking alike today. So what I wanted to say is he's said that all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just like me and Praful are thinking alike. Jessica?
President Jessica here.
Yeah.
I would like to refer to my year when my meeting with the trust, they had an offer to pay for an auditor or accounting or whatever it was that they had in mind. I would like to suggest to this meeting, this membership, to agree to approach the trust to pay for the accounting fees or auditing fees, so that we don't have to take a freebie, which always puts us at the back of the line, as mentioned before, and not to be overcharged after we negotiate and you manage expectations, as you have said. Then we should go to the trust as a resolution that came out of this meeting and say, please help us to pay this so we don't have these recurring issues. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Past President Jessica. And maybe just to give you comfort, I would want to say that was discussed at the board yesterday, and because of your reinforcement, we'll take it up. I will bring that matter to an end because looking at my watch, we want to get into time that I mean, I'll require your permission probably just to hold on to for another 10 minutes. It's going to 2 o'clock. I request that you, because the 2 other points coming up are all equally important, but I must thank you, all of you, for your contribution on the issues that have been sticking for a while, and look forward to us sorting out some of these issues once and for all. President-elect Josephine, the floor is yours to unveil the team Rotary team board for the year 2022-2023.
Thank you very much, President Gideon, fellow Rotarians. I would want to ask if I can share my screen. Is that possible?
Yes, Anthony, help us.
I think Ambassador Dr. Josephine, you have been assigned co-host.
Thank you. Let me work with the technology. Please let me know when you can see my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Is it possible for you to see?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. President Gideon, fellow Rotarians, I'd like to share with you names and designations of the incoming board members for the Rotary year 2022-2023. As you are aware, after the leadership of this year's board, led by President Gideon, I will then take up the role of president. I will have a vice president by name of Kalpa Padia. I will have an honorary secretary, none other than Eva Nyawera Kuria. Our treasurer that year is incoming Rotarian Olivia Ngugi. Our vocational service director, your president nominee who will be president-elect that year, is none other than Susan Murabana. Our international service director, who has been running in and learning very quickly, will be Irene Gaviaka. Family of Rotary director, who has also been running in as a mentee, will be Shubrika Johari. Shubrika will have a deputy, none other than Mumbi King, who also has been learning from PP Dr. Anne Van Lawe. Governance and Ethics Director, a new position, will be held by none other than Lady Justice Joyce Alwatch. Our Membership Director, who has served on this board and has served in other boards, is Irina Wandera. Our Fundraising Director will be PP Dr. Anne Van Lawe. Our Programs Director, none other than the resourceful Margareta Wagasheru. And our Community Service Director, I'm pleased to announce, will be Clinton Obongo. Beyond the names of core board members, you are aware that we will be supported with decision-making by the elders. And I just repeat their names for all of us. The elders are a 3-member team comprising Rotarian Arun Devani, Rotarian Mike Eldon, and Rotarian Salome Gitoho. Each one of them has a bevy of other titles. And all of these decision makers will be supported by the Troika. The Troika will comprise myself at that time, IPP Gideon Ahwabi, and at that time, President-elect Susan Murabana. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to unveil the names of the incoming Board of Directors for the Rotary year 2022-2023. I seek your approval and endorsement of the same. Thank you.
Congratulations, President-elect Josephine, on your team, and all the best. Like I said, we will start our first joint board meetings at our next board meeting, which our secretary will advise accordingly. Otherwise, congratulations. Maybe can I call upon PP Jessica, maybe to respond on our behalf on the unveiling of the new team?
Thank you,
President
Gideon.
Just hold on. Just before you go there, I can see Winnie has raised her hand. Winnie?
Thank you, PE Josephine, for the committee. Wonderful. I think the youth service team, we don't see a committee director. Kindly, could you verify that? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Winnie. I am pleased that you brought this up, and again, not surprised. Indeed, We shall consult and add the name of the youth director, share the same with us later today. I do not have that name up right now, and I hesitate to make a comment on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, PP Jessica.
Thank you, President Gideon. You always put me on my toes and I have to think on my feet, so to speak. President-elect Dr. Josephine, my congratulations to you and your team. You've had an opportunity to think, to select, to choose the best people who will serve you and serve the club during the coming Rotary year. I pray that each and everyone who has accepted their position will give it their utmost time, effort, honesty, look for support where they need it, reach out to the club and do a wonderful job. And I'm sure with your leadership and guidance and experience, you'll be in a position to guide them and achieve that which is expected of Rotary Club of Nairobi. And I thank all the people who are involved in bringing this meeting to the point where it has reached. It has been run very, very well, I must admit, and I look forward to working with all the new members of your year. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, PP Jessica. I now, without further much ado, yield the floor to past President Mike to just take us through on Think Again. I'd ask for your 10 minutes. I think we'll still be able to operate within that time. Thank you, sir. Mike?
I'm speaking here as a member of your board with your advisor on leadership, where we've been looking to see how to identify gaps in leadership and how to fill them. And it turns out that in...
Mike, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can hear some noise in the background, but we can't hear you. The rest, please mute your microphones. The rest of us.
Can you hear me now?
You sound distant. Okay, Mike, unmute your mic.
Okay, now. Can you hear me now?
You are too distant. You're normally very clear.
I'm not distant. You can see how close up I am. I don't know what
Something has happened to your microphone.
I don't know what it could be.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Properly?
Not properly, but yes, I can hear you. I don't know about the rest.
I can hear him, but faintly.
Yes, I think what we can do is we can turn up our volume at our end and we can hear you.
And maybe turn off the videos, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me adequately?
I don't know what has happened, but yes, I can hear you, but faintly.
I can hear him.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. So I said I'm speaking in my capacity as the board member who's the advisor on leadership, where we've been looking for a way to identify gaps and how to fill them. And it turns out that in our book club, we've been reading books that have sort of allowed us to, in addition to reviewing the books generally, to become like a think tank for Rotary Club of Nairobi and its leadership and communication style. Let me not talk too much, A, because of the volume, B, because of time, but I just want to mention that Beatrice has kindly agreed to produce a report of the book Think Again by Adam Grant that I think will form a very good basis, and we'll talk about it at an appropriate time to see how we can develop our self-leadership and how we lead with each other in the club. I just want to say that Gideon today and in the build-up to today, in these last few days and few weeks, you have shown exemplary leadership. You told us at the board meeting yesterday that you have now become an accountant because of having to have necessity be the mother of invention. And you showed today such extraordinary eloquence. I'm going to propose you to the to ISPAC, the accountants body, to make you a fellow. I also suggested yesterday that we look forward to reading your memoirs of your year as president, because there's so much that you've been doing, whether on the accounts, whether on working with us as at the nomination committee or anything else. You have grown enormously in the last month. You have transformed into Gideon 2.0. Well done. And I think let's leave it at that for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
That's
you, Mike.
very, very true. Very true.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to take much of your time. I want to give the final toast and thank you everyone for your contributions, for your patience. Let me give the final toast. It's 11 minutes after 2. And I want to give this toast to the new board of directors who will lead us in the year of Imagine Rotary, to the members that have been entrusted with this enormous responsibility, and to the Rotary Club of Nairobi. I give Rotary the world over.
The Rotary the world over.
Asante, God bless you. We can go back to our chat. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Susan.
Good to see you, Doc.
Thank you. It's nice to
welcome
see you.
back. Welcome
Thank
back.
you. Past President
Yeah,
Mike, those are very kind words. Josephine, you have a high-powered team. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, PP,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Squared, David Gidanga. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
With the snow on his head. He brought some snow.
It's a portion mill. I opened a portion mill for grinding maize. That's what happens.
He brought some snow back.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Congratulations, Josephine. You have a beautiful board.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And
thanks to Susan.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Susan. Susan, congratulations, Susan, too, in the same board meeting.
Thank you, Jessica.
And thank you, Past President, for the words of prayer and blessing. We appreciate those and we welcome them with both hands.
Congratulations, President-elect Ambassador Dr. Josephine and your entire team, and President nominee Susan. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't want to know why there was any question. We should have known that Susan would be with the one in the first place. How marvelous. Well, thank you, Josephine. I look forward to serving on your board.
Thank you very much, Dr. Margareta Wagashero. It's actually an honor to have such well-qualified, so well-exposed and very resourceful Rotarians on the board, including yourself. We look forward to benefiting from your vast portfolio of personage in the arts, especially. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, it's
Thank
privilege.
you. Thank you, Dr. Josephine. I look
Thank you.
forward to congratulations, and I look forward to working with you, especially in a new in a position that is being created in Rotary. That's my understanding, isn't it?